Now, I thought when I rolled in here this morning, I'd be talking about last night's game, Dallas Cowboys and Arizona, and that ass-kicking that Arizona put on Dallas. I thought that I would lead with that, honestly. And then all of a sudden, all hell broke loose. Like, well. The NFL trade deadline went all hope solo on us today. The NFL trade deadline is going psychotic, and it's beating people up. Honestly, you know what it is? It's really just the Jets that are going all hope solo. And they're going hope solo on themselves. Evidently, the Jets are having a little fire sale. See you later, Sauce. Nice knowing you, Q. Hello, first-round draft picks. And if the Jets are really lucky, they'll turn 2 of those draft picks into a pair of players as good as the 2 dudes that they just sent away. But what are the odds of that happening? It's the Jets making the picks. What are the odds of that really happening? And in the meantime, I'm not exactly sure who is going to suit up on defense for the Jets. Jets. They might actually have to dress their draft picks in uniform and have them start on defense. Because Sauce Gardner is now a Colt, and our dude, Quinnen Williams, is now a Cowboy.
How about them Cowboys?
Don't think that I don't see you working, old man. Hey, Jera, I know what you're doing. You are desperate to deflect from that train wreck last night. You are desperate to get us to talk about anything other than Jacoby Brissett and the Cardinals rolling into your house on a 5-game losing streak and putting belt to Cowboy ass on national television. Great. You put a big-time player back on that defensive line to replace the big-time player you already traded away. And a player not as good as the player that you already traded away, but at least he plays the run well. Am I right, Jera? You could not have been any more wrong that trading Micah away was going to help you stop the run. All right? Admit that, old man. You were wrong. It got personal, you let it get personal, and you tried to sell us on the reason we're doing this is we need to get better at stopping the run. But you didn't. You got worse. In fact, you got worse at everything. The defense is garbage. But at least Quinnen can come in and help plug up the middle. Not that it really matters. Not that it's really going to help. Troy Aikman said as much right on the broadcast last night. The Cowboy defense is not a player away. There was speculation, well, not even. Jerry said it. We're not done. We're going to make trades. And Troy's response was, yeah, I don't know that I would do that. A trade's already been made. I'm just not telling you what it is. And Troy's saying, you know what, I wouldn't do that. Watching this team right now and the beatdown that they're getting, I wouldn't do that, Jera. But Jera did. And at least Quinnen is a bigger swing than acquiring the demoted, benched linebacker from the only worst defense in the league than the Cowboys. Thing is, Jera, I know you just want us to look at you. I know you just want us to talk about you. And most of all, I know you want us to forget that you got vaporized on Monday Night Football.
Vaporized.
And thank goodness for you, there's a conflict among the networks and not everybody saw it. But, and unfortunately for you, the highest paid player in the league, your MVP alleged quarterback, the highest paid player in the league, got outplayed by a journeyman backup. That had to suck. And you did get vaporized by that same quarterback. They came into the house that you built on a 5-game losing streak and hammered you. Oh, and you think making this deal is going to make us forget about that and change the conversation. Nice try with that, Pops. Nice try with that. And again, remind me why you traded away Micah. And is this some sort of upgrade? You're doubling back now for Q? Nice player, but not Micah? Damn, Jera. Yeah, but you're doing what you said you would do. You're doing what you said, what you finally admitted to Stephen A. Smith. When things aren't going so well, I like to stir it up. I'm just about the controversy. I'm about getting you to look at me and talk about me. It's almost like this dude took one of my rants that I've had like 1,000,000 times and had it transcribed so he could puke it back up. Right. Tell us something we didn't already know, Gramps. You're about getting people to look at you and talk about you, and that in large part is why your team is so valuable. There it is. Quote, he said this to Stephen A. Smith. What you do is a little bit of my philosophy. Controversy. I'm serious. I'm dead serious. Not serial killing. Not that, but controversy. Dallas Cowboys probably have that kind of interest that we have in no small part because we stay out front and we stay controversial. When it gets slow, I stir that up. Fact. I just want to be relevant. I just want you to be looking at us. End of quote. He said that. He said that. Talk about the quiet part out loud. You mean the part that I've been saying out loud for years? Quote, I just want to be relevant. I just want you to be looking at us. Problem with that is, you know what makes you relevant? Winning. You know what that does? It doesn't make you relevant. It makes you look like a clown, Pops. Jarrah. At least he admitted it, finally. All right, so let's put them. It's never, I just want to win. I just want to be relevant. I just want you to talk about me. I just want you to look at me. I'm all in. No, you're not. No, you're not. Yeah, I'll tell you what's all in. You know what's all in? You want to know an example of wanting to win. You want to know what's an example of being all in. The freaking Colts. The Colts, Jarrah, not you. The Colts. The Colts are by far the most interesting team right now because they just took a massive swing. Indy got this little whiff of success and legitimate hope, and all of a sudden now they're all in on a Super Bowl run. Like, it's downright delusional in a way, but it's awesome. They believe. All of a sudden, Indy is all or nothing. Not Dallas. Like Indy, this is what I mean when I say they're kind of delusional, but it's kind of awesome. They think they have a Super Bowl caliber quarterback in Daniel turnovers or dimes. Depends on the day. They clearly thought they were a defensive upgrade away from having a Super Bowl caliber defense. And they clearly think that they're going to be really good for the next couple of years and that their next 2 first-round draft picks that they sent to get Sauce Gardner aren't going to be very good, which is why they sent them to the Jets. In return, what they get is an undeniably good corner who just signed an extension this offseason, right? The Jets love this guy enough to give him an enormous deal this past offseason, and already he's gone. Sauce is still just 25. He's under contract through 2030. Now, you could argue, and probably argue honestly, clearly, he's not the same player he was in his first 2 seasons when he was a first-team All-Pro, both years. Here's my question. I don't deny that, but here's my question. Is it because he's actually dropped off, or is it because he's been infected with the disease that is the Jets? Is he sick and tired of playing for that loser franchise, repping that loser franchise, and wearing that loser uniform? Is it a little of both? Maybe, probably, but just for some context, here was something posted by NFL Next Gen Stats on X earlier today. Sauce Gardner has not allowed more than 2 receptions to a single receiver in a game this season. He has forced a tight window on 52% of his targets, the highest rate of any player targeted at least 20 times in coverage, per @NextGenStats. So maybe he's not quite at the level he was, but he's still pretty damn good. Obviously, the Colts think so, because they sent 2 first-rounders and a player for him. And I see what they see here. Sauce is still 25. He is still 6'3". He still is very long. He still is fast. And according to all reports, going back to his rookie year, he is also a very cerebral player and a solid leader. And imagine maybe in a situation like this, he's going to thrive. The guy's not used to losing like that. Nobody is, really. The Jets will do that to you. They will suck the life out of you, the passion out of you, the juice out of you. I remember talking to Sauce not long after he got there. Man, that dude had so much so much juice. And you could see where being a Jet would suck all of that right out of you. So clearly the Colts are believers. Again, that's why they just threw down 2 first-down picks, like they were drunk morons hanging at a blackjack table with me in Vegas. The Colts are so confident in themselves right now, as I mentioned, it's borderline delusional, which I'm getting a kick out of. But I love it. I love it. Who doesn't love a team that will do anything in its power to win, honestly, and take a big swing? Now, did they need to mortgage the next 2 drafts to add a defensive star player? Kind of depends on if you agree that they were essentially a player away. Or you could ask the question, do you give up that much for a player at that position? You know, the Rams did with Jalen Ramsey, and it worked. And they won a Super Bowl. Not saying that that's the same case here, but it did work for the Rams. But he's not Micah, but a really nice player. I don't think I agree that they're 1 player away. I mean, I had some pretty serious questions about that defense before this morning. I have fewer questions than I did when I woke up this morning. But I don't look at this deal and say, like, that's it. That will put them over the top for sure. But it's going to make them a hell of a lot better. And you got to admit, there are no monsters this year. There are no monsters in the NFL. This thing is wide ass open, and you cannot knock the hustle. You can't fault that team for trying to take advantage of the moment and win right now. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like when you're really all in. That's what it looks like, Jera. And I can't hate on that. It's hard for me to hate what the Colts just did. But let me tell you something. Jets fans, man, what's it like to be you? How do you get excited if you're a Jets fan? How do you get excited when, I mean, look, I'm not saying they're going to make a run at 1-7, but here we go again. Again, giving up on star players. Again, moving out star players. So what does that mean? You get to stockpile a bunch of first-round picks. Good luck with that. Good luck with those picks. Good luck with that franchise making the right picks. I mean, maybe, possibly you even land a Sauce Gardner or a Quinnen Williams. Just don't interview them. Just don't put them on your show. Maybe you land one of those guys if you're really lucky. And if you're really, really lucky, maybe one of these picks might turn into, follow me on this, Jets fan, maybe you turn one of these picks into a franchise quarterback like, I don't know, Sam Darnold. If everything works out perfectly for the Jets, one of these picks will become the new franchise savior, who, of course, will not save the franchise, not yours. And you'll end up becoming the new franchise, not savior, but scapegoat. And then eventually discarded on the side of the road like used trash, only to end up somewhere else, rebuild himself, and become the guy that the Jets thought he was supposed to be when they drafted him. And he is that guy, but not for the Jets. By the way, who is making all these picks? The new GM, Darren Muji, a.k.a. the first-time GM who presided over the current disaster of a roster. The current roster that is so bad that the team just gave up after week 9 and traded away their best players. That's the guy who's going to make these picks? That's the guy with the Jets' big plan? You see, I thought that Sauce and Garrett Wilson were the foundational Jet players. That's why they both got big extensions this past summer from the brand new GM. The hell changed in the last 2 months. These two players are supposedly what the new regime was building around. Even as recently, never mind 2 months, as recently as 2 weeks ago, Woody Johnson was acting like those two guys were untouchable.
Sauce and Garrett signed before the season. I don't think we've heard
So what? What about
Sauce and Garrett? You got them signed before the season.
Yeah.
We have. How important was that? And do you see Brees as part of the long-term Jets
I'm
plan?
not going to speculate on Brees, but I think it's very important we sign the other two guys. Yeah. They're great talents. I mean, I've been around for a while, and they're way up there.
Oh, they're way up there. Oh, they're really talented. I've been around for a while now. I'm Woody. I know what I'm talking about. I've been around for a while now. They're way up there. Yeah, whatever that means. Clearly, Sauce was not way up there enough because Sauce is gone. Not that Sauce is very upset about any of this, I'm sure. Can you imagine how great it must be to get traded away from the Jets? Man, that's got to be your best day ever. That's got to be your wildest dream come true. Meanwhile, trusting that the Jets have a coherent plan is like trusting that Jerry Jones is going to do whatever it takes to win. It's never going to happen. Jerry will do whatever it takes to distract from the losses, grab more headlines, create more controversy, get you to look at him and talk about him, but not make anything better. Because how is it better to get rid of Micah, check that, Michael, right, Jera? And trade him out for Quinnen. But damn, we are talking about you, Pop. We are. I just don't see how that was a good move or an upgrade, especially after seeing your ass product on the field last night. You know you got your ass kicked on both sides of the ball last night, Jerry. You know that, right? You got your ass kicked on both sides of the ball. That's not even me talking trash. That's your own MVP, allegedly, quarterback, Whack. Whack said it. We got our asses kicked on both sides of the ball. We knew your defense was horrible, but we thought that you had a really nice offense. And now the offense is regressing to the mean. It's almost like the offense is saying, hey, wait a minute, hold up now. Don't sleep on us. We suck too. We can be as bad as them. Well, nobody can be as bad as them, except for the Bengals defensively. So let's go get one of their guys. I hate to say it because one of their guys is one of our guys, but that guy got benched on the worst defense in the NFL, and the Cowboys went and got him. Oh, okay.
Bench the Sauce.
But they got Quinnen. But they didn't re-sign Micah. But as always, Jera, at least you had a good reason for not re-signing Micah. Holy crap. That's a lot. Trade deadline.